The Leeds Jewish Welfare Board is not just an organisation that provides services, it's more than that.
I think the Leeds Jewish Welfare Board to the community is somebody who hopefully can fix things for people, that if they don't know where to turn, if they are just stuck, if they ring us up, we will try and find an answer to their problem or their issue. And I promise if we can't, we will know somebody who can. And I think that for me, it's the safety net for the community.
We never turn anybody away. We go over and above. It's a tremendous place to work, and the community is so lucky to have the Welfare Board here.
Today, the United Kingdom's chief medical officers have advised that the country should move to alert level 5, meaning that if action is not taken, NHS capacity may be overwhelmed within 21 days.
The impact on Leeds Jewish Welfare Board and the community centre was quite devastating, actually. I think everybody tried for as long as they could to offer support, but it was really sad.
The pandemic, the impact it has on people, on everybody. I've never seen anything like it. I don't think any of us have.
Initially, there was a lot of panic about how people were going to get to access food, especially if they were shielding. People who had never ever had an issue before suddenly found themselves burning and crashing. So we had a whole new cohort of people needing our support that we'd never seen before.
October was hard. Then November was hard. So in November was the second wave of COVID. And sorry, I just get quite upset because it's quite a huge responsibility on myself as a registered manager. I am solely responsible for my 50 staff, and at the time there would have been about 80 clients. So we sort of deliver anywhere between 700 and 800, 850 hours a week of care. So we're looking after quite vulnerable people who are susceptible to COVID.
The normal statistic of mental health experiences is 1 in 4 people will experience a mental health difficulty. Since COVID's come along, I would now say that every person out there is experiencing some form of mental health difficulty, whether that's increased anxiety, depression, isolation that impacts on people's mental health. I think we're all experiencing differing levels and fluctuating levels within all of our mental health.
I think the fear and the despair and the despondency is something that is on an increase. So everybody has, in the past, historically, unfortunately, have had to endure mental health problems, have had financial problems, but the fear of the unknown and how it's going to impact on them in the future is increasing.
We've had some people have had to isolate because they've had a death affected by COVID, so they've had to go home from a hospital or following a bereavement and actually be on their own for 10, 12 days, which must be just incredibly hard and difficult for them.
So one person said to me that they're experiencing suicidal isolation, even though she's surrounded by her family.
It's been a very challenging year for me, both professionally and personally. As someone who works for an organisation that supports the community that I also live in, I've been really proud of the way that the community's pulled together and that the way that my colleagues have stood side by side with them.
When the pandemic hit, I think like everybody, we were in shock, but it wasn't in shock for a long time. And I think our first reaction was, okay, so what can we do? We didn't shut the doors through 2 world wars and everything else that we faced, and we were very clear we would not shut the doors to our community. We adapted our services and we thought differently. We made sure that we were COVID safe, we made sure that staff understood about keeping themselves safe and the people that we look after, and then we got on with it.
The Welfare Board has stepped in. We support people. We become almost another family member. And I think that's really important, both for this community and the wider community.
I don't think anybody who works for Leeds Jewish Welfare Board would ever have thought of giving up, because I think we all value the people who make up our community and we all care.
I think I'm most proud not only of how people have stepped up to the challenge and done whatever it's taken, but the level of innovation and the services that we've been able to develop really quickly. You know, within 2 weeks we were online, you know, we've delivered, you know, on average 500 plus meals to the community every single week. We've had new volunteers come forward. Just the whole flexibility of the services I'm really, really proud of. And, you know, the fact that we've been recognised nationally and internationally for our response is amazing.
We were really a lifeline. Our volunteers were incredible. They went and did the shopping and delivered it.
Every time I have lifted my head up to just check on what's happening in the board, I've known everything that needed to be done has been done, more than anything that could have been done has been done, and that's been the case throughout the whole year, and I know it will continue to be the case.
I'm so proud to work for the Leeds Jewish Welfare Board. I think the work that we do just makes me shine with pride. I think every little bit of time that is gifted on behalf of the Welfare Board to the community is immeasurable. I think it takes your breath away.
Personally, being able to come to work has actually kept me going, and being able to know that I've made, hopefully, some small difference, if not to my staff's life, but hopefully through what we do, we've made a difference to people in the community. And that is priceless.
For Leeds, I think the Jewish Welfare Board can only go from strength to strength. I think if we can come through this as a part of the community, I think we can come through anything. So I'm really optimistic and hopeful that we've got a really good, positive future ahead of us, and we'll be able to continue to support and do the work that we do here.
If you choose to give a gift to the board, what you're able to do is ensure you're making a uniquely Jewish contribution to the Jewish community in Leeds. I know that the money that people give is spent really wisely, and it's spent to provide personal interventions to people who really need it, and that it's given within a Jewish context.